skiing, and above all, horses. Neil also happens to be a foodie. He loves gourmet food and enjoys watching diners, drive-ins, and knives. A memorable moment for Neil: he single-handedly destroyed a slalom course set up at Deer Valley during a Mayhew clinic. During the awards ceremony that followed the Mayhew clinic, they showed Phil Mayher's gold medal run and Steve's silver medal run in the 1980 Olympics. I'm thinking here that was the famous crazy Canuck, Steve Podgorski. One of the group in which David Irwin, David Murray, Steve Podgorski himself, Jim Hunter, and the very famous, my favorite, Ken Reed, who earned themselves a reputation for fast and seemingly reckless skiing in the downhill event. And then they showed Neil, after showing Phil and Steve, they showed Neil stumbling out of control, taking out all of the gates as he flew downhill on his backside. Not one of his more memorable ski racing moments, he claims. I don't know about that. Seems to me that this very moment could easily include Neil in the very select group of the Crazy Canucks. But you'd have to be Canadian for that. The title of his speech today is, I Should Have Been a Cowboy. Objectives. This is Neil's icebreaker. So his objectives are to break the ice and introduce himself to us. His timing, Stacy, is 4 to 6 minutes. Please put your hands together.
I don't know who's about you.
Oh, you.
All right, should have been a cowboy. Yep, I stand here today as a kid grew up in New Jersey, 42 minutes from Madison Square Garden, and I'm telling you, I should have been a cowboy. I was the youngest of 3 kids, and I think my parents would describe my adolescence and my upbringing as challenging. My mom was an immigrant from East Germany. She was a determined woman. She escaped East Germany while the wall was being constructed, and she was determined to find a better life for herself. When she came to America, got married, had children, she had 2 things that she was committed to. One was she was going to make sure that her kids got an education, and 2, she was going to make sure that she instilled some sense of culture into her kids. Now, her sense of culture and my sense of culture differed vastly. You see, her sense of culture involved dragging us kids into New York to the Met to watch opera. Now, her favorite performer was Luciano Pavarotti. Now, I used to pay my sister $20 to go in my place to accompany my mother, and I didn't part with my money easily. So I hope you can understand my disdain and my dislike for opera. So one weekend after being dragged one too many times to New York City, I decided I had to make a point to my mother. I was not going to go anymore. I'm going to digress for just a moment here, but Sunday mornings in our house, we used to have big breakfasts. The kids, they would wash the dishes after breakfast. My mom would be doing her chores. And inside the 4 walls of our house billowed opera at ear-shattering decibel levels. Now, me being the challenging child I was, decided I was going to slip a Led Zeppelin album inside the Pavarotti suite. Now, it took several weekends for this to develop. However, when it finally did develop, my mom did what she always does. She never looked at the albums. She grabbed an album, placed it on the turntable, turned it to 10, moved the needle over, dropped it down, and this time, the sounds of Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. The look of horror and shock on her face, I will never forget. But Neil had won the battle. There would be no more opera for Neil. My mother was done. Now, regarding her dream and commitment for education, she would not be denied. I was a good student. I graduated pharmacy school, took a job down in Washington, D.C., got a job as a pharmacist, but I promised her I would return to grad school to pursue a PhD in neuroscience. Well, didn't quite fulfill that promise. You see, money jumped on my head. I got married to a diplomat's daughter. And for my mom, this was a thing of beauty. You see, she said I was stepping in high cotton. And she thought the culture gods would descend down upon me and instill culture into her son. Well, after attending several embassy parties, I realized I had nothing in common with my wife's colleagues. You see, they would talk about their Porsches. They would talk about their art collections. And me, who normally doesn't struggle to have a conversation with anybody, couldn't figure out what to talk about. So, the marriage, although the food was phenomenal, the booze was terrific, the marriage ended in divorce. I ended up selling my house, most of my worldly possessions, packed what I could into my truck, headed to Utah. Now, although I had my Utah pharmacy license, I had no intention of using it. You see, I had come to Utah to experience the greatest snow on earth. And experience it I did. I experienced it for 85 days until something horrific happened. I ran out of money. I had to do the unthinkable. I had to get a job. Luckily, I got a job with some folks that shared the same passion for the outdoors as I did. We hiked, we fished, we camped, we skied, and I continued to cultivate my love for the outdoors by visiting national parks. And on ascending a trail in Glacier National Park, had about a 4,200-foot elevation gain, I came across a wrangler. And the wrangler had a string of 5 Percheron quarter-horse crosses, and he was delivering supplies to the chalets in Glacier. And I stood back and I observed, their strength, the stamina of those animals, the beauty. It was at that moment I decided I was going to get a horse. And I rationalized it to myself all the way down the mountain to my truck. I'm getting older. Shouldn't be carrying all this weight on my shoulders. It's going to hurt my back. You know, my grandfather's got arthritis. I need an animal to help me out here. So I made that decision 10 years ago today. Well, not today, roughly 10 years ago. But I am still fascinated how a predator and a prey animal can communicate and dance in harmony together. And I spend almost all my vacations seeking out clinicians to better my skills and become a better horseman. I fear my horsemanship journey will never end, but I am committed to becoming the best partner I can for my equine companion. My latest challenge is a 3-year-old with less than 20 rides under saddle, yet a rather impressive pedigree. I am determined to take him to the Impact of the Horse put on by Jim Hicks here in Wasatch County. Now, I regret that it took me so long to find my passion in life, but my sense of culture involves sitting around a campfire discussing vaquero-style horsemanship with some of the world's best clinicians. My wife, who reluctantly tolerates my obsession, thinks it would only be fitting to have engraved on my tombstone, should have been a cowboy.